Alright, welcome back to Just Magic the Gathering. I was looking at how to spend my wild tokens, and at a certain point I made up most of my mind off line, but I did kind of want to run through, the actual building of the deck, or the swapping it over. The building deck mechanic and looking at decks is one of the things I do find the most enjoyable about Magic. And it also gives an option or opportunity for feedback for what might be better within the deck. What I was going to start by doing was just cloning the Deathloop LG deck and looking to fill it out a little. The Quasi Revenant is something that I run in my other deck, my Lifelink deck, and exchanging for this is but it helps that deck too. Ones that I can almost dual purpose, I feel I'm miles ahead on. The Enduring Tenacity I really like. I've ran it in multiple decks before, and I've kind of slowly been picking them up. At this point, it was just one more to finish the deck. I'm not sure. I've come back. I haven't fully made up my mind on some of this. Vincent, I have wanted another Vincent for a minute. And yeah, there's only one more in here. And the Bloodthirsty Conqueror. That will almost finish off this deck, or it'll help boost this deck significantly to its end goal. I was looking at something like Bailout. This is an alchemy only deck, so the other part of the death loop that I was looking at for, or mentioned earlier about do half damage, it was the Bloodletter. The Bloodletter of... And I probably don't own the card. And it's an expensive card. It's Bloodletter, one word. Bloodline. And it's like the Bloodletter of Oxalot. Yeah, I do have one of them. Two of them. This one rolled out, so unless I make it a standard compliant, then it isn't an option, but this is the card I was talking about. An opponent would lose life during your turn. They lose twice that much instead. I was questioning maybe swapping this deck to standard play instead of alchemy. And yeah, I guess in some ways that is neither here nor there. Sorry. On the note of my lifelink deck, I can now do something like take out a Nighthawk or two Nighthawks and put in two more of the Revenants. And one more Vincent for maybe that last Nighthawk. I was questioning the Alchemist Assistant is one I do like. If I go back to Deathloop 2, Vincent, Sinister Monolith. I did want to actually add the other monolith now that I have it. The Requiem monolith to get better card draw in here. One moment, I have a kitty. Sorry about that. The monolith, enduring tenacity, one of the arenas. I could take out the arena because I did just throw in the other one, the monolith. Take out card draw to put in card draw. The Spectacle of Destruction, I have actually seen this used quite effectively against me. One of the reasons I guess I threw it in here, and it is an alchemy card. Most of these are alchemy. If I'm playing alchemy, I should kind of look to some of those cards. This is a really good, not a great Authority of Council's replacement, but it really helps shut down mobilized decks. And I had seen it used quite effectively against my mobilized deck in the past. So most of this deck I've just built from seeing what people play against me. And yeah. Dum dum. I don't have enough tokens to actually do them all, and I was wondering about, at a certain point, building part of it. Save and exit. I did a midweek thing and played this deck. It's one of the few decks that I saved from a midweek, and it's where I first ran into the Terra Symbiosis myself. I was wondering about spreading some of my tokens around. At this point, I already kind of burned the majority of them. Because something that can help multiple decks is, I guess I'm all for. So, happy with those changes that blend nicely with my lifelink deck. And in some ways, this deck is a lifelink deck. Most of the things that run have lifelink. And that's the part of what makes the Bloodthirsty Conqueror. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. This pairs so perfectly with life gain. And on the note of random, I picked up the card art for this one. How do I apply the style? I think I did. Because yeah, I really like the Enduring set. The sheep, the kitty, the whole set was a little more expensive when it came around than I wanted to pick it up, but I picked up the Enduring Tenacity because I had the coins or whatever available for it, and I'm a sucker for some of the art. Now, how do you just disappear? I want that one. That one. So, yeah, I will take a moment offline to finish pulling some of the uncommons, or yeah, I'll just take a minute offline to review this. Alright. I was questioning the legitimacy of having even stopped the recording because the thought process in some ways is part of the deck building process. I really like the bailout. For one, I can, as opposed to, it's like a protect card. If they go to kill it, it just comes back tapped. And this works really well for board wipes because for 4, I can overload it and get all of my creatures to come back after they die. So if they play kill all creatures, I can just play they come right back, which is really handy. I like bailout. I was going to pick up all 3 of the bailouts. So I was kind of questioning, do I want 2? Do I What would I like? The Eternal Thirst I don't like as much. I did, at this point, the only thing I did was take out one of the Bloodthirsty Conquerors and one of the Vincents. I decided that having them would be nice, but I can always improve it later. It's looking in some ways too cheap out. I am down to 2 tokens, or 2 rares. So what I can finish picking up is kind of limited. Momentum Breaker's nice. They have to sacrifice a creature or vehicle of their choice. If they can't, they discard a card. And depending on when you play this, it can be a momentum breaker. It's like, oh, you get a kill card for 2, and later, or if in a pinch, you can gain life equal to your speed. And with the Bloodthirsty Conqueror, or I guess it's more like the Enduring Tenacity, when I gain life, the target opponent loses that much life. So if I can, in a pinch, I can get some life equal to my speed, and it'll hurt them back. Spectacle of Destruction. I was wondering about picking up, basically spending my last 2 rare tokens on this. I've never ran it, so I don't know how well it runs. I've seen it run fairly well, especially on a deck where I just try and kill everything. It doesn't matter if you kill your stuff, I kill your stuff, or you kill my stuff. If things die, I get creatures back out of it. This has the unique thing where it's like seek a non-land card. So it'll start weighting me more heavily towards my draws being land, and I can just pull them straight out. So I like Spectacle of Destruction. The one thing I have been bit with before on when the alchemy sets roll out is they don't roll down to standard, and it makes them almost only like historic at that point, or they can still go into brawl. They can go into a few things, but I'll at least pick up 1. The Eternal Thirst. Pick up what? Momentum Breaker. So I took out 5 cards that I need to replace. Once again, I'll take this offline for the indecisive part of it, and yeah, look forward to seeing what this shapes up to be. Alright, well, I'm glad I took that offline. It took me a while to guys decide what my final couple were. I just had to fill out those last 2 basically sorceries or instances. I was really struggled between Ruthless Negotiation and just Fel. I had quite a few options. I even looked at some of the cards that I don't have, just to make sure there wasn't anything obvious I was missing. There are some cards that would play better with my deck. I did end up deciding on Ruthless Negotiations. More than once I've been at the point where it's like, oh, you're down to your clutch card, and Ruthless Negotiations means they just have to discard it and it goes into exile. It also has flashbacks so that I can play it a second time, and works as card draw. I kind of like Ruthless Negotiation. As a runner-up, I was looking at Poison the Waters. This, all creatures get -1 until end of turn, which in some ways hurts me as much as other people, because like my Starscape Cleric, a lot of my things are little and they're like 2/1s. So, but you can choose one. In the case that they're running like a whole bunch of tokens that are 1/1s, you can almost do a board wipe. Target player reveals their hand, you choose artifact or creature from it, and they discard it. Not as much of a fan. But yeah, in the end, I decided on Ruthless Negotiation. I have a fair amount of they have to sacrifice their creatures anyways. So I'm hoping that it works well. At a certain point, I will do that in its own video. I'll actually officially introduce the deck and run a match with it and see how it works. This was just the deck building process. I hope it was enjoyable, or once again, recommendations for improvement are welcome. I am at this point basically out of tokens, so yeah. That being said, I do look forward to playing some more Magic here.